and thank you for attending the 2020 Teacher Leader Summit virtual series. My name is Sharon, and I will be your session host and moderator for this afternoon. You are attending session A104 about healthy eating. And we have two presenters today, Joni Miller and Pat Ferris, and I'm going to turn it over to them.
Okay, great.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to our session on supporting healthy eating opportunities through school, fundraisers, and classroom celebrations. My name is Pat Ferris, and I'm a part of the Healthy Schools training crew. I am the former Child Nutrition Director for St. Tammany Public Schools, as well as the Archdiocese of New Orleans. Since my recent retirement, I've started teaching nutrition at Southeastern Louisiana University, and I serve as a consultant and trainer for Well Ahead. We are gathered here today under very difficult circumstances for all of us, and Joni and I are both so glad that you're here with us. Thank you for the work that you're doing during this unprecedented crisis. New normal means new ways to communicate now, and new ways for us to deal with our students when we return to school. Joni Miller and I are looking forward to speaking with you today to discuss ways we can all support healthy eating opportunities for our students.
Good afternoon. My name is Joni Miller, and I am part of the Healthy Schools training crew. I am the former Child Nutrition Program Director for Bogalusa City Schools. And since my retirement, I have been a Child Nutrition Administrative Review Auditor and a consultant trainer with the Institute of Child Nutrition and Well Ahead. As I share time with you today, I hope you are somehow doing well in spite of COVID-19. I hope we all have gained an even stronger value of life, family, work, and faith as we have sheltered in place. Over these past few weeks, we have experienced a new world. Somehow, we must maintain our vigilance while we adhere to the new rules and get back to work. This challenge will require continued patience and strength together to get to a better place. Moving forward will require a new level of personal responsibility. We all have a new role to play. In today's webinar, as a participant, you will build an understanding of the components of the school nutrition environment, the federal guidelines in place for snacks in schools, or smart snacks, and opportunities to reinforce healthy eating messages to students through school fundraisers and classroom celebration. So let's discuss the nutrition environment and how it impacts the health of our future, the students. Let's create a difference for a healthier tomorrow. Instilling eating and physical activity habits early in life is critical to promote healthy child development. The school nutrition environment is part of the whole school, the whole community, whole child, or as we call it, the WISC model. And it can help shape lifelong healthy eating behaviors, as many children consume almost half of their calorie intake at school. The WISC model is the CDC and the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development's framework for addressing the need to engage students as active participants in their learning and health. Schools, parents, and communities share a common goal of supporting the health and academic achievement of students. Reflecting on the WISC model and working together with the various sectors can ensure that your students are healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and challenged. Out of school time is a supervised program that young people regularly attend when school is not in session. This can include before and after school programs on school campuses or other facilities. For example, reading or math or sports teams, STEM, arts enrichment, or the Boys and Girls Clubs. It is recommended that schools implement policies and practices to create a nutrition environment that supports students in making healthy choices by providing the following: access to healthy, nutritious, and appealing foods and beverages through their school meals, smart snacks, and even rewards, celebrations, and fundraisers. Also, consistent and accurate messaging, marketing, and staff modeling about good nutrition and healthy behaviors, along with opportunities to learn about healthy eating through health and nutrition education, connecting the cafeteria as a learning laboratory to the classroom, farm to school activities, and school gardens. The local wellness policy is a tool that guides a school district's efforts to establish an environment that promotes students' health, their well-being, and the ability to learn. This timeline here displays the changes of the wellness policies, but I want to just focus your attention to the 2016 final rule. This relates to your current local wellness policy. In thinking about the essential elements of a healthy school and the out-of-school time nutrition environment, teaching students to eat healthier and take care of their bodies will empower them to become healthier adults. Foods and beverages sold outside of school meals must meet the Smart Snacks requirements. There should be language in your wellness policy about foods served and foods offered to students as rewards and during celebrations, as well as those sold for fundraising. Healthy eating learning opportunities give children knowledge and skills to help choose and consume healthy foods and beverages. These opportunities can be present in the cafeteria, the classroom, school gardens, farm to school activities that provide actual hands-on learning about food, nutrition, and healthy eating. The local wellness policy is a part of the Child Nutrition Program's administrative review, which is an audit that is conducted every 3 years for rule compliance. Now, the accountability lies with the Child Nutrition Department, but the work is the responsibility of all stakeholders concerned, those concerned with the student's health. Remember, it does take the whole school community to make healthy happen. Do you know where your local wellness policy is? Take a second to answer the polling question. Where is your school district's wellness policy? Take a minute to respond. I see a lot of different answers. Good job. Keep going.
Just FYI, presenters, if someone's on their cell phone, they can't participate in the poll.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, but they can still see the poll in progress, right?
That one I'm not sure of, but they can see the results on the shared screen.
Okay. It looks like it might have slowed down.
Okay, I think those are great answers. And it looks like most people selected the child nutrition director or the school board's webpage. And you know what? There really is no wrong answer because the wellness policy should be located really in all these places. But regardless of where the wellness policy is located, it needs to include something on smart snacks. And Joni mentioned smart snacks earlier.
And to support your district, so it could be all of these that you see on your screen. So to support your district, find out when your administrative review period is, especially if revisions to the local wellness policy are needed. or any reporting requirements are needed to be fulfilled. But don't just let it sit on the shelf. Your local wellness policy should be a tool that you're constantly using.
Great. Okay, so as I was saying, regardless of where it does need to include something on smart snacks, which is one of the things we're discussing today. What are smart snacks? Well, technically, they're only the food and beverages that are sold. But whether your school is selling food items or serving them at no charge, we want to make sure that everything we offer is healthy and sends the right message. The term smart snacks refers to the national nutrition standards for foods and beverages sold during the school day. These items are sometimes called competitive foods because they can compete with participation in the school lunch and school breakfast program. Now in Louisiana, for decades, we've had policies that limited the times schools could sell anything to students. But in 2014, the USDA established nutrition standards for all foods and beverages sold in schools. These included items sold in vending machines, a la carte lines, school stores, snack carts, and even fundraising. As a result of these standards, we have seen healthier foods and beverages on school campuses nationwide. When do these standards take effect? Well, they are in effect the entire school day from midnight until 30 minutes after the end of the school day. And USDA has a great booklet that covers all these requirements, and your handout will show you how to access this guide. To ensure that students are offered healthy snack choices, the general guidelines require that everything we sell must be either whole grain, or fruit or a vegetable, a dairy item, or a protein item. Water may also be sold. Now, what do all of these items have in common? They all contain essential nutrients for good health. So let's say you're shopping for a whole grain item. How do you know what works? Well, first of all, look at the label. The first ingredient must be whole wheat, not enriched. Even if the first ingredient is wheat, that does not mean it is whole wheat. And there are a wide variety of items that have fruit, vegetable, dairy, or protein as the first ingredient. The snack may be a combination of fruit and vegetable. I'll share this with you. Smoothies were a very popular fundraiser for one of my schools in St. Tammany Parish. And what we needed to do was work with the local vendor, the local smoothie store, and they modified their recipe and they met all the requirements. And it was a great recipe that the kids loved. But regardless of the item, the snack must limit calories, sodium, fat, and sugar. Do you know the requirements for smart snacks? Well, even if you don't need to worry about it because they are listed in a handout that we have for you. Just remember that these guidelines were developed to ensure our students are offered healthier snacks at school. And to make it even easier to determine what works in your school, there's an easy to use online calculator that we're going to show you how to use later in this presentation.
Consideration should apply also to foods and beverages for fundraising purposes or celebrations in compliance with the local wellness policy requirements. Standards for all foods and beverages provided, but not sold to students during the school day, must at least be outlined in the local wellness policy. For example, classroom parties, classroom snacks brought in by the parents, or other foods given as incentives or rewards. This is where we can help you strengthen your local wellness policy and suggest that celebrations and fundraisers be smart snack compliant. Now, are you allowing foods that are high in calories, fat, sugar, or sodium during some of these celebrations and fundraisers? When we do this, we send conflicting messages to our students. So, what is the message? The message is we want to support health across the whole school community. We want to send students and staff a consistent message about good nutrition and healthy eating, as well as physical activity. Schools and out-of-school time sites can begin by offering healthy snacks and beverages for their celebrations and fundraisers, as well as including fun physical activity throughout the events and celebrations. We want to encourage all school staff and families to follow these practices. So let's address celebrations and rewards. Celebrations could be themed to national holidays or celebrations such as Black History Month, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Fall Fest, or they can be tied to fundraisers, school dances, carnivals, not just to birthdays. Think about an occasion for which the schools you work with have celebrations, whether that is a classroom party or a school-wide celebration. Most of these celebrations will include food, right? So is there a connection between traditions and the emotional tie to food during celebrations? That's something to keep in mind as we encourage you to rethink those traditions. Now, these are examples of typical foods offered at parties or celebrations, snacks, and foods as rewards. Now, these are not supplied by the Child Nutrition Department. The best practice is for the district wellness policy to align classroom snacks and other foods given as incentives as part of Smart Snacks. While these categories are not required by USDA to meet Smart Snacks, it is best for consistent messaging to the students, the staff, and the parents to follow the healthier guidelines. Okay, Sharon, let's see if we can celebrate with this video. This is a YouTube video that is in your handout, and it's a video that is shared by a school principal. Let's see if we can bring it up. Let me know what you think, Sharon. If we can't do it,
I can bring it up for you. Hang on one second.
Okay, great. Just hang on one second, folks. It's a really good video that a principal shares a lot of information about. He tied together all of those ways that we see food on our school campuses and how it can all be tied to healthy eating or healthy activities.
I guess I'll add this while we're waiting for the video to come. There are several other videos that the Healthier Generation has that you may enjoy looking at another time.
And the videos are great to share with your staff or with your families, your PTA or PTOs, because they're good educational tools. This one in particular, we felt like. Here we go. Sharon, right now we're not hearing sound.
Share the sound.
There's no sound so far.
Got it, yeah.
Do the parties and celebrations on your school campus support healthy eating and good nutrition? Here's a bit of grade school math. Say a class has 24 students. If every student has a cupcake at a birthday celebration, how many cupcakes is each student eating at school per year? Okay, that may be simple, but 24 cupcakes is a lot. And that's just the cupcakes for birthdays. That doesn't include holiday parties, school-wide celebrations, and all of the other food in addition to those cupcakes. So let's think again. Is it really just a cupcake? We have to consider the cumulative effect over the entire school year. Consider changing the party traditions at your school. New traditions are an opportunity not only to include healthy foods and beverages, but also for kids to enjoy more play, music, games, or sports. While we traditionally think of celebrating with cupcakes and junk food, remember, kids just want to have fun during special occasions. They often don't care if it's with a cupcake or just being recognized on their special day. They don't care if their fall celebration includes soda or just gives them an opportunity to socialize more with their friends. They just want to celebrate. Let's explore some new traditions that you could start in your school. Throw a dance party. Create special playlists and let kids have a ball. Take it to the next level by making it a glow party or themed party. Work with your physical education teacher to create a physically active party toolkit. Identify equipment that can be used for free play, extra recess, or an obstacle course. Set up a themed parade around your school. Have a scavenger hunt outside. Having a fall celebration? Incorporate different colored bell pepper strips to dip in your yogurt dip. Or let students make fruit art with leaf cookie cutters. Set up a yogurt parfait bar where students can pick their own toppings. Include a variety of frozen or dried fruit, granola, or whole grain cereal. Cutie oranges make for great fun on many occasions. Let students decorate and share them. They can celebrate Halloween with jack-o'-lanterns, cutie grams on Valentine's Day, March Madness by making basketballs. Just celebrate your students. Give the birthday student a special shirt, hat, or sash. Allow them to bring something special to share with the class. Or let them pick a book to read, or pick the music to play during study time, or get a shout out on the morning announcements. What unhealthy traditions can you start changing today? Take a minute to think about what students in your school might like. But remember, before you do anything, make sure your local wellness policy or school building policy clearly outlines your celebration practices. Setting clear expectations from the beginning is key. Strong language ensures that anyone who picks up your policy knows exactly what is and is not allowed. Be sure to address the following. Which activities or items are allowed? If foods and beverages are allowed, what are the standards for those products? Your local wellness policy must clearly outline which standard food and beverages must be held to. Hint, healthy is not a standard. It means something different to different people. Consider using the Smart Snacks and School Nutrition standards in your policy. It is a clear standard that has been around for a while. It makes transitions easy. What time frame does your policy cover? In school only, or the extended school day? Do you allow a set number of exemptions to the standards? For example, 2 parties a year where cupcakes are allowed? What will be your next steps? Will you survey students and families to identify new celebration options and share the results with the school community? Promote the new policy through the school's website, social media accounts, newsletters, and/or bulletin boards? Send letters to families explaining the policy change and why it is important. Provide your school community with a list of new ideas. Explore healthier foods and beverages in the Smart Food Planner. Collaborate with your school nutrition department to create party packs families can purchase through Child Nutrition instead of heading to the store to buy cupcakes. Share your successes. Think about your plan, but know you aren't in it alone. Lean on others in your wellness committee. And don't forget, Healthier Generation is here to help you. Reach out to us. Follow us on social media, connect with our school health experts, visit our celebrations page. We're here for you.
Okay, that was a great video. Let's see, how do I get rid of that? Sharon, I'm seeing the whole Zoom class.
You need to share your screen again.
I need to share my screen again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, it's not coming up. Here we go. Okay, great.
Good. I think that was a great video. And you know, it's so easy and it's so typical of many of us that when we have a celebration, it's around food and not necessarily healthy food. So I think what he showed us were some fantastic ideas for creating a healthy school environment and having parties that you have other activities, that it's not really based around food. But I wanted to repeat what he said about the one cupcake, because you might say, oh, what's the harm? It's just one cupcake. But it really isn't just one. With monthly celebrations, holiday parties, and other events, every single school teacher, every class could have at least 20 celebrations every single school year. And that one cupcake contains anywhere from 350 to 500 calories. And what does that mean? That means an extra 7,000 to 10,000 calories per school year. So please, engage your parents, your PTO groups, and students to create new traditions to celebrate special days throughout the school year and even during our out-of-school time. Now, none of us want to become the cupcake police. We want the whole school and the out-of-school time community to be on board with healthier options for the well-being of our students. Katie had texted in a question a minute ago about allergies. And so this is something we all are very aware of, that we have seen a big increase in the number of students with allergies in recent years. And some of these allergies can be life-threatening. And the fact is, whether snacks are brought from home or if they're provided by the school, strict avoidance of the food allergen is the only way to prevent a reaction. And you know, there's no guarantee that food prepared at home or brought into the classroom is handled in a safe and sanitary manner. And if students with allergies are taken into consideration. We also are very aware of peer pressure, and it's possibly that those students with allergies may partake so they do not feel left out of celebrations. So here are some examples to share with your district and community for a policy that only allows healthy snacks and beverages. And I liked that in the video, he said there is no definition of healthy, so we need a written standard. There could, of course, be non-food celebrations, and the Alliance for Healthier Generation and the Center for Disease Control are wonderful resources to find smart snack compliant foods and beverages for our students. Encourage parents and staff to share ideas. Perhaps your PTO can keep a running list of easy, creative celebration ideas. So let's look at some of these resources.
As much as possible, use non-food celebrations and rewards with your students so they don't associate food with positive behavior. Not sure if that's a really good thing. So that can be a hard habit to break if that's what they're doing, associating behavior with food. So this is a Healthier Generation handout with creative ideas. It's recommended using these as a guide for celebrations and providing examples to parents. How about games or crafts? Ask your parents to bring supplies for a game or a craft project instead of sending food. What about a dance party? Allow the birthday child to choose the music and have a dance party in class. Or to celebrate a class accomplishment, allow extra playtime or recess time. Or have a special show and tell as a celebration. How about a themed scavenger hunt around the school? Make it an event. Allow the birthday child to wear something special, clothing or a sash, a crown, or even carry a special item with them throughout the day. For class celebrations, allow the child being celebrated to choose special parts of the activity, such as the music or the physical activity, or even a book to read. You can use the ideas here for non-food activities and send it home with each child at the beginning of the year. The child and their parents choose their birthday activity for the year and turn it back into the teacher so everyone knows ahead of time what the special celebration might include. For school-wide celebrations, how about a special guest or a local celebrity to eat lunch with the students, or put on a special assembly, have a school-wide party, or organize a community project that different classes have different responsibilities? So now here's a question. Type in the chat box any food or any non-food celebration idea that you might like to share. So type in something non-food that you might like to share.
Stickers.
Pat, can you see the what they're
I
talking
love
about?
the answers, yes.
I
Coloring
can't see.
books, dances, stickers, extra time, craft project of their choice. We have some very creative people in our session.
Okay, well, great. So you see, not only do you have some ideas here on this handout, but you also have come up with some ideas of your own. Now, we recognize food is a fun way to bring people together. After all, it is what we do here in the South. So here are some examples of healthy snack and beverage ideas for engaging youth. These are great lists provided in the handouts that you can share with other staff members or your parents or your school community.
Joni, those are some great ideas that you listed, and as well as the participants showed us for non-food celebrations. And then you had some really good food ideas for us. But what if people want to serve a snack that's not on that list? Let's remember it has to meet the nutritional requirements if it is sold during the school day. But ideally, all snacks provided at no charge would meet the same standards. Now, to make our life a little easier, the Alliance for Healthier Generation and the CDC provide recipes and interactive menus, and we do have links to both of these in our handout. So what do you do if you want to sell a snack or serve it? Step one, decide what you want to offer. You may find items, you're going to need to find items that fit your budget and are easily obtained. And of course, you want items that your students like. And it depends on where you shop. Do you shop at Sam's, Costco, Walmart? If possible, you may want to work with your local school food service director and obtain items from the formal bid. We did this in St. Tammany, and we had it delivered to the individual school. Individual schools paid the invoice, and it gave the principal a firm price, and he was assured of delivery. Some items are very easy, and you don't need the calculator to determine if they meet the standard. This includes water, 100% juice, yogurt, fresh fruit and vegetables. But what about that granola bar or those chips or popcorn or maybe even a smoothie? Some of these brands meet the requirements and others do not. So step 2 is log on to the Healthier Generation and use their calculator free of charge. I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to use this free Healthier Generation calculator. So let's assume you see this brand of granola. You can get it at a good price. You've tested it with your students and they like it. So you're going to need the nutrition information on the box. The first question that you'll answer on the calculator is, what kind of product are you going to sell? It's almost always a snack or a beverage. In this case, we're going to select snack and press next step. Remember that to qualify for a grain item, it must be at least 50% whole wheat. And how can you tell if the item is whole wheat? Just look at that ingredient label. If the first ingredient is whole wheat, then you're good to go. Check off whole wheat and press next step. Now you see why you needed that nutrition label. Just enter the information on the package. The software will check for the maximum allowable calories and sodium. It also calculates the percentage of fat, saturated fat, and determines if the sugar content is too high. This is a huge time saver compared to doing it manually. It will even allow you to print this for your records. So now you have documentation that shows your snack items meet the nutritional requirements. Of course, there are a few exceptions to every rule and also some limits on portion sizes. Because of their high nutritional value, nuts and seeds may exceed the maximum percentage of calories from fat. Milk and juice, although very nutritious, we have to limit the serving sizes to something that's appropriate to the age of the student. Certain beverages may only be sold to high school students. Carbonated beverages, whether low calorie or no calorie, cannot exceed a certain number of ounces. So no big gulps or supersizing here.
Results are most successful when stakeholders feel that they had input into this decision-making, especially since food is so subjective and personal. Get the school community involved in picking healthy foods and beverages for celebrations with these following resources. Here are some great examples from Healthier Generation for involving your community. There's food surveys, focus groups, or taste testing. And they are also supplied in the handout that you received. Okay, so let's move on to fundraising. As we've discussed, fundraisers during the school day where students will be consuming foods or beverages, they must be Smart Snack compliant. But what about the after-school fundraisers? The Booster Club bake sales at evening sporting events, evening family meal nights to raise funds, etc. While those are not required by USDA to be Smart Snack compliant, we again want to make sure that we are supporting consistent messaging. Healthier Generation has great ideas for getting creative and active with fundraisers. Here we see success across schools with non-food fundraisers like a dance-a-thon, maybe staff and student sporting competitions, and more. This one here is an amazing, profitable, healthy fundraiser success story from one of the Healthier Generation schools. The Woodstock 200 School District in Illinois decided to host a district-wide fundraiser called Fit for the Future. The event started with a 3-mile walk. It was then followed by exhibits, speakers, and activities. Students asked for pledges for the walk, and families chipped in $5 to attend the function. This district raised more than $10,000, which was given back to the schools for physical education equipment. This success shows that fundraisers can be inclusive of the school community and healthy, all while raising substantial funds. Another fundraiser worked with the principal and teachers to grant no homework passes that kids could purchase and could redeem at the pre-approval and the discretion of the teacher for not doing a homework assignment. Teachers also purchased some of these to use as incentives for students, which was a huge hit. This particular school raised $17,000 the first year. The PTA's average fundraising previously was about $5,000 to $6,000 a year. And the following year, it was over $23,000. A few other examples of non-food fundraisers might be a water day or a school fair. What about pajama day, goofy hat day, or goofy hair day? Or what about dunking the staff? Now, we do understand that perhaps not all students or all families have extra funds to spend. Healthier Generation has a resource that can also be used for PTA or community groups for fundraising. It's important to remind school wellness committees to engage the PTA, the parent groups, etc., in this conversation so that they are a part of the decision-making process and they take ownership of these healthier options.
It makes sense that our school's wellness policy includes promoting and marketing healthy food choices. So here's a question for you. What do you think? Is it true that schools are only allowed to market foods and beverages that meet smart snack standards? So take a second and answer this question, true or false?
Looks like a pretty good, oh, some are still filling in.
And I see a lot of people chatting the answer. Maybe they can or cannot access the poll.
Yeah, because they're on a phone or some other device than their computer.
Okay. Well, overwhelmingly, it looks like our audience knows yes. Every school's wellness policy should include guidelines that tells what type of food advertising our students may see. And yes, we should only be marketing or promoting those healthy choices. And marketing can be anywhere. It can be on vending machines, posters, coolers, just about anywhere students can see. Food and beverage companies have marketing campaigns that can be very influential to our students. And our goal is to make sure that the messages they send are a healthy one. Here are just a few examples of where you might see food and beverage marketing at your school. Now, principals can work with the vendors to ensure that marketing materials are compliant. Also, there are so many free materials that teach students about healthy foods and beverages. You can get them from USDA, various of nonprofit organization, as well as private industry. Because remember, the contract that your principal may have with a beverage, with a carbonated beverage company, they sell other products as well. They sell juice, they sell water. So they will have things to promote that are healthy for our students to see. Getting kids involved in messaging can be very impactful for nutrition education, and it gives the students ownership of delivering these messages. What about having students work with the art teacher to produce signage for healthy messages? Maybe your music teacher could produce a jingle that could be performed live or played on broadcast. In St. Tammany Parish, one of my middle school teachers developed a short video about healthy eating and received $5,000 in a grant from the Dairy Council. Most teachers that I know and students love competition. Perhaps the winning class could win some sports equipment that's donated by a local store. If you have any questions about this, refer to the Healthier Generation webpage for guidance and sources of free marketing materials. Again, this is in your handout.
And remember, it's important and required for students to have access to drinking water. Adequate hydration may improve cognitive function among children and adolescents, which is so important for learning. The CDC has resources to support increasing access to drinking water in schools. So now you can create and implement a healthy improvement plan. Your district and school improvement plans can provide an opportunity to address the needs of the whole child as reflected in the WISC model by incorporating health and wellness related goals and aligned activities into your school improvement planning process. You can see how you have opportunities to reinforce and to model the healthy eating messages sent to students through school fundraisers and classroom celebrations. Academic achievement and health are closely linked, and healthy students, as you know, are more ready and able to learn. When students' basic nutritional and physical activity needs are met, they are able to attain higher achievement levels. The school nutrition environment provides students with opportunities to learn and practice healthy eating through nutrition education, messages about food throughout the school campus, and available food and beverages that includes those in your vending machines, your grab-and-go kiosk, school stores, concession stands, food carts, classroom rewards and parties, school celebrations, and fundraisers. All individuals in the school community can support a healthy school nutrition environment. It's not just the cafeteria. So how will you return to school with healthy messages and modeling for your students? Is this you, Pat?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The question really is to ask, when you return to your school district, are you going to be involved with marketing and positive messaging? Will you meet with parents and encourage healthy snacks from home? And do you plan to discuss non-food fundraising with your principal? I know some of you will, because I'm reading your questions to us about that very subject. We hope you're all looking forward to reviewing your local wellness policy and getting involved with possible changes.
So now, do we have any questions? I'm not sure why I don't see the questions.
I did see a couple that I thought were very interesting. Katie asked if the Smart Snack federal guidelines address allergies. And they don't technically address allergies. They limit the calories, the sodium, the fat, those things that we saw earlier. But that's why it's so important to have a district policy on what you sell as well as what you provide in the classroom or at other activities. That's why, again, I think it's made life easier for my principals in St. Tammany that they purchase things from my formal bid, because we have someone who works full-time with procurement, and she made sure that everything had the allergens listed. And we had, things that did not have wheat, that did not have soy, things that were could be appropriate for kids, or that if there was an allergen, at least we were very well aware what it was.
Do you see
Sharon, do we have any questions that you could share with us?
Let's see.
As long as it meets the guidelines,
Sure.
are they sold during the school day? Tara wants to know, as long as it meets the requirements, can it be sold during the school day? The federal guidelines say that if it meets the guidelines, it can be sold during the school day. Many school districts in Louisiana, though, still hold to the Louisiana regulation that's no longer in effect, but the school boards use it, that we don't really sell anything that competes with school lunch or school breakfast. So they don't allow anything to be sold until after lunch is finished. And so you want to just check with your local school board to see what those policies are. Somebody asked about having a dance in the classroom, and I couldn't read the whole question. Maybe it was because that we're socially distancing. I would have to guess that, you know, it's a new world and everything's changing every day. But when we look at trying to spread apart and stay active, that there's definitely ways that you will be able to do that. I love the idea of the scavenger hunt, maybe where kids are kept a little bit separate, but they're going throughout the whole campus, or at least on the playground, instead of being locked in a closed environment.
And I would think you could come up with some really good ideas to make a scavenger hunt fun for the children. Are there any other questions? And oh, go ahead.
We have one. Is popcorn on the smart snacks list? Kids love popcorn.
It certainly can be. And I will tell you that's, again, when you want to look at that online calculator, there might be a few that are packaged. And if you have your own popcorn machine, as my school district did, some of the schools had their own popcorn machine. I worked with Pennington Biomedical Research at no charge, and they helped us learn how to analyze that for the fat content. So the short answer is yes, but just make sure you check it out.
Okay.
We have a comment about, I've been told that no homework passes weren't really a good idea because it made homework seem negative instead of as something helpful.
Well, you know, that's an interesting concept. And I know some schools don't even send homework home, but as we mentioned in the conversation or the language, it is up to the discretion of the teacher how that's handled. You know, homework is a struggle sometimes for both the parent, the teacher, and the child. So yeah, that's something you have to think about. But there are other ways to sell passes. I think some do some sorts of hall passes or extra time for certain activities or recess or something like that. So yeah, you might have to think outside of the box if not allowing a pass on homework. I would think that's an individual school thing.
I agree. Someone asked a question about, can we give out kind bars or some kind of granola as an incentive? And my comment on that would be twofold. Number one, does it meet the snack requirement? But more or equally important, we really should not be using food as a reward. When we look at Americans and we look at our obesity problem, we use food for reward, for comfort, for so many things. And so I would discourage anyone from using food as even the healthiest food as a reward. Maybe something more like stickers and pencils and some type of pass that's allowed by your school.
Yeah, so pull out one of those handouts that we shared that you can use as non-food rewards and celebrations.
Okay, Scott has a great question. He said, with the pandemic, maybe sharing finger foods is not such a good idea. I totally agree at this point. So what you might do, whether it's a paper souffle cup or some kind of paper disposable, the person who's preparing the food, you wash your hands, you portion the food out, then everyone picks up their own. So maybe the suggestion in that video was for a parfait bar. You may not want to have a granola and parfait bar at this point, or if you do, you have individually portioned items that they would add to their yogurt.
Good point.
Another question was, are they going to be emailed the handout?
Sharon, have they been emailed that yet?
The handout has been posted in the Sketch app. If people go to your session,
Which is
Healthy
A104.
A104 Healthy Eating, the handouts were uploaded into Sketch app. So, and also the evaluation for the session, because I see folks are logging off. The evaluation for this session is in the Sketch app. When you're in the Sketch app, if you go to this session, you can click on it's something like feedback about this session on the screen with the when you're in this session and provide feedback.
And they're asking that you do give feedback on this session. We would appreciate it. And you can also leave an optional comment.
It's rate this session. That's what it says. Thank you, Katie. It's rate this session on the bottom right-hand side. And when you click on rate this, you're also able to enter comments.
Okay, so we hope that you will do that.
And Joni and I have enjoyed speaking to you this afternoon and hope you can use some of this information to make your school celebrations and your fundraisers even more healthy than they are now. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your Teacher Leader Summit.
Thank you, guys. It was a wonderful presentation. We appreciate you guys sharing your knowledge.
You're welcome. I'm happy for all those that tuned in.